pathway to college applications, it could be in identifying a good physical trainer, it could be in identifying a sports psychologist, it could be just generally speaking. All right, so the last thing I would say, and I mean with great sincerity, you children, and by extension, you parents, I think are genuinely blessed that somebody like Coach Dixon working with you, working with your children, because one thing nobody can ever question is his passion.
Oh yeah.
That's something that is legendary.
Good question, man.
Legendary. And I hope he imparts some of that passion. Maybe not as loud as but he imparts that passion to his players. Or he passes on that energy to his players, because that's not something that you can teach. That's something that he has, comes from within, and I think that that's very important. You have a lot of people who teach tennis who do it because you figure, or you kind of assume when you see them, they're going through the motions, and okay, they're doing it for the money, and yeah, they enjoy what they're doing, but they're not really into it. I don't think I need to convince any of you that Coach Dixon is not one such coach. So he also has an incredible, I would say, for somebody who I don't think played too. When did you start playing this? 19. What the point I'm making is I think that he has an incredible analytical mind of a tennis match. So if he and I watch a match and he gives me his insight, in many instances I'm kind of, I wouldn't say blown away, but let's just say very impressed at certain intricate details that he's able to pick up. And the reality is that level of astuteness and that level of insight, I think, is extremely important. So I mean with all sincerity, I think that you're an asset to the game of tennis. Tennis Jamaica is certainly proud to have you as one of the coaches of the game. And I say with no risk of contradiction, you're certainly a huge asset in the lives of your students and by extension in you, the parents. All right?
Okay.
That's what we're very open to.
Yes. So if there's any questions on anything I've said, if there's any questions on anything else, please ask. Yes, sir.
How did you become president of the Tennis Association?
Right to the neck.
If I answered that, we may be here for another 5 hours. That's a long and winding story. But the short story, please. In 2019, there was an election that I was elected. Vote well, I was actually elected unopposed. Nobody ran against me, but in an election, I took over that position in 2019.
Okay.
That's the short answer.
Yeah.
Short answer.
Coach, Sir President, morning.
Yes, sir.
Can you give anything more about the new facility that I heard you speak about at the launch of the recent?
Yes, so that's important. That's something that it's been talked about prior to my administration, let's say, but we've kind of done it a bit differently. We have put the funding in place to start, and now we're in the process of just tying up the arrangement with the land. But I think it's important for us as an organization, the type of tennis facilities. I'll give you an example. I just came from Paraguay 2 days ago, where the Davis Cup was taking place down there. So they have a facility, one of their facilities, which has 12 courts. It has, I think, 8 indoor courts. It has doctor's office, it has restaurant, it has classroom settings, it has a gym, all on the same facility. So the reality is when you go in there
Mhm.
as a, let's say a child, but let's just say any tennis player, you feel to play tennis. I went in there, I didn't have any tennis rackets, I wasn't there to play, but I kind of was,
Mhm.
I wish I had brought my rackets. It inspires you to say, this is somewhere I want to come and play. So
Mhm.
God's willing, that's something that is in the final stages. Once we tie up the land side, we have funding in place for at least half of the funding already secured. So hopefully in the not too distant future, that tennis center will be in place. The other advantage it gives us is with the number of courts we're going to build, we can host more international tournaments. Because when you're hosting the certain size of tournaments, you need a minimum of 6 courts for some, a minimum of 8 courts for some, a minimum of 12 courts for some. So it will open up our horizons as an association, what we're able to do in that regard.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I have 3 questions. When in Jamaica, what does success could look like for these kids in terms of, maybe not professional level, but like in terms of college, like, you know, how many kids or like what schools take tennis players or where?
I would say, without getting into the specifics, I'd say a lot. A lot of children get good college educations through tennis, no question about it. I think the pathway for girls is probably a little bit easier, to be honest. I mean, there are more tennis scholarships for whatever reason that
Yeah.
seem to come our way with females. But that being said, there's many, many males who do. But it's so the important thing would be to play the local tournaments here.
Mhm.
What we have been talking about, but God's willing will soon be a reality. There's something called a UTR, which is a universal tennis rating for all tennis players. What we're looking at is all of our local tournaments.
Can't work.
That's a physical thing.
It's that all
Come around
it's
here.
that all of our local tournaments.
Push the mirror chair.
Sorry, President. Look at this.
The mirror chair.
It's that all of our tournaments UTR rated. So even players playing that rating, some players college coaches. But definitely the pathway that could college education through tennis certainly.
Okay, so through that race, where the land that we're supposed to play at the time.
For sure. For sure. And then obviously when you apply to universities, they are sending, let's say, academy video of themselves surveying each stroke, and the coaches, they do evaluate, and coaches are always looking for players, because remember the college system works, there are always players who are leaving, so they're always looking for players to come in and fill that role.
So, you potentially could help in that regard in terms of having more tournaments and maybe these coaches will come or we travel to where we'll go to those tournaments.
Yeah, we already have significant number of tournaments, so once they're all UTR rated, players playing tournaments here can get the same benefits as if you were traveling and playing tournaments overseas. So
Okay.
you're building up that UTR rating here, and once your UTR rating gets above a certain level, you start to get the attention of college coaches.
What cost, percentage, what's the cost of the membership for the
Not a lot, 5,000 Jamaican dollars a year, not a significant cost.
what do you get with that?
Well, you get access to play
Court,
at
yeah.
the Jamaica facility. What we're looking at putting,
Put your
which
hand down.
honestly is not in place as of now, is a discount program with certain vendors, like sports vendors, hotels, that if you're a member,
Mhm.
you, like a loyalty program, let's say. But at present, the membership entities is obviously vote on issues that the National Association is dealing with and access to the commission facility.
So you guys get
Sorry, one other thing, one last thing. it also, for Tennis Jamaica tournaments, it also, the entry fee is I think half of non-members. So really, the membership almost
That's really-
pays for itself to the country.
Yeah, I think it's.
Is he getting a lot of money from the government?
Not that much. Thank God we get support from SDSPP.
Right.
We get some support from GOE, but the majority of our funding is private.
Who's having questions?
Majority.
One of the, just going back to the college, understanding of why it's easier to get scholarship
Can I ask you a question?
is has to do with the equity situation where we are spending pretty much the same amount of money on female sports as on male sports. But football, American football, takes up a lot of money. And it's a male sport. So it takes up a lot of money. So because of that, you don't have a lot of money left to allocate to males for some of the other things. But you have a lot of money that's allocated to females because female sports are not as expensive as football itself. So that's my honest opinion.
Cruz has a question. For a while now. Oh, you finished?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Cruz.
Who taught you to play tennis?
We thought we played tennis.
It'll be here a while, so-
That's a long time
You can get
ago.
the
So
second
my
one.
uncle was
Get number 2 from
a former All Jamaica champion, Eddie Smack, introduced me, my brothers and my sisters to sport. And then growing up, I had a number of coaches. Lockett McGregor, who was a very good coach to me at the time, and various other coaches. But my uncle introduced me to the sport, so I'd say he's the first one who gave me that love for tennis.
I have a question for you, so Cruz. For, right here at the academy, I think we have a good crop of 10 to 12 players who they matriculate to the big full court. Is there a part of the remit of the association, Tennis Jamaica, to have a tournament themselves versus facilitating, like we recently had one. So Tennis Jamaica itself has a tournament for kids of a certain age group, that's one. And two, is there a program that caters to, you see, a certain set of players who you think, yes, they can really push this thing further, to have them, whether every 2 months or quarterly, come together in a particular training camp. So while they still have they come together in this camp and we continue to nurture and stuff like that.
So let me answer the first question. So we have Tennis Jamaica has regular tennis tournaments throughout the year for the juniors. So we have under 10, under 12, 14, 16, 18.
Okay.
Those tournaments exist. I'd say we have probably minimum of 8 tournaments a year, and then we have other organizers who have
Okay.
their sanctioned events.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of tournaments, and on that note, I'd say that from my perspective, I suspect Coach Dixon would agree, training is very important, but there's no substitute for competition.
Right.
You can't hide from it. At the end of the day, as good as you are in a training court, you see some players who train very well and you think, wow, this person is incredible. And you see them in a match setting and they literally, they're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
solid match play. So in that sense, a lot of tournaments exist. The second part, what you said, I think certainly should be in place. It is not to the extent that we want, and I think I can be bold enough to say one of the reasons, not the only reason, is that a lot of the coaches themselves, unlike Coach Dixon, I need to make that clear, a lot of the coaches themselves, for whatever reason, maybe don't want to expose their students to that sort of environment, maybe feeling that they may lose their students to other coaches there or to other kids.
Gotcha.
So what we found
Why they lose
is
the money for the day?
excellent.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Excellent point. So they may feel that if we're gonna have our students attend this camp on a
Mhm.
Saturday,
Mhm.
how does that affect me personally? And
Gotcha.
that's just a reality.
Yeah.
So we as an organization probably have to look to see how we can combat that thinking
Yeah.
and let them realize that the better their students get holistically,
Mhm.
the better it is for them. But at present, I would say to you, that certainly should exist. So
Yeah.
you should have a 4 times per year
Mhm.
where we have, let's say, a high performance camp.
Right,
The players
right.
make on the
That's the
16,
point.
on
That's
the
it.
12, on the
That
whatever
is
the
it.
case may
That
be.
is it.
And don't really raise it as I redouble my efforts towards that, but where we've tried to do it before, unfortunately, we've met some resistance
Mhm.
from the very coaches who we would have hoped would have been
Yeah.
promoting that or in full support.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to add to that?
Yes, I do. As a coach, I give a lot of audience to my parents, and I believe that ultimately I'm their servant. I mean, when it comes to technical what I'm doing on the court, I expect them to respect that. But in terms of where their children are going and what is to be achieved, I am their servant. So I am fulfilling their. So I think that Tennis Jamaica should set up, ensure it as a forum. I mean, the WhatsApp group we have is I think, but I think that you should establish a forum where you are not depending on the coaches, because the coaches are servants
I
of
agree.
parents. Coaches are not determinants of what happened in tennis, right? As far as the development of the kids go, that's a parental decision, and you should be going directly through the parents
I think so.
for stuff like that, and then coaches facilitate that. Coaches have no say in that part. No, they don't have no say.
Should have no say.
Look, if a parent delegates that say to a coach, it is still the parent's say, because it's the parent who made that decision to delegate. So as far as I am concerned, a coach has no say whatsoever. The parent may express their voice through the coach, but it's still the parent's voice as far as I am concerned. And the parent will take responsibility for that, and you'll not get away to say, coach did this, or the coach did that, or the coach didn't do this, or the coach didn't do that. It's your child, you should take responsibility for it. I know that our parents are not as educated about tennis a lot of the times. That's why I put a lot of tennis education in my group.
Emphasis on a lot.
A lot. So you need to know so you can make informed decisions. You cannot afford a situation where you have coaches that tell you about it's a process, and they hide behind the word process, and your child is there
Yes.
languishing for how long, and you can't see tangible growth, and you talk about process. There's no such thing as process. Even if you're building a house, you must see that one block is going on top of another block, must going on top of another block. You understand? It's a process, but something you can see.
So
There's always something you can see.
So let me just add this, 'cause I know others might say this. No, so coach is speaking, and coach speaks very directly, and he's speaking from a coach and
Does he
stuff.
does coach speak directly? I hadn't noticed.
So I endorse that. But speaking from a parent, and there are other parents here, that one of the things I think, and I will nominate myself to assist in the process of, because when I go to these tournaments and I see, let's say, kids who are performing at a certain level, certainly I'm happy to say my kids, do that. And we would want to see certain things. They maintain the different coaching thing, but in terms of Tennis Jamaica, I would sometimes engage Tanios, and say, what's happening? Is there a group? I see a kid the last tournament come up from, I didn't know, everybody said first they seen him from Enton. I mean, one of our kid really, take him down to size. But the point is, the point is, when I engage these parents, everybody would want to see that, let's call it that camp, take place. So I would say, and I would push, I will speak to you about forming that group, engage us parents. So it's not like we're going to have it every Saturday. We're having it quarterly.
So what I would say to you is, firstly,
Yes.
thank you for your offer to assist, because when I came into office in 2019,
Right.
I've always made it very clear, as Coach Dixon just said, from a coach's point of view, Tennis Jamaica is here to serve
Right.
the members of the organization, and by extension, the tennis playing community and family. It's not the other way around where people are here to serve us.
Mm.
That being said, there's so much that the Tennis Jamaica board can do, and we would certainly welcome assistance from persons who
Sure.
have that. But let's be very clear again,
Mhm.
your vision and your expectation, what you would like to see,
Right.
aligns perfectly with mine.
Right.
You should have a situation where everybody's playing, but the organization, certain players who it's felt have something special
Mm-hmm.
going for them at the time. The organization takes a special interest
Right.
in that, and at least I'd say once a quarter,
Yeah.
gathers those players together to keep an eye on it, and from this young age is the perfect age. You know, if you're looking at players when they reach 17, 18, to try and identify the really talented or dedicated ones to push them higher, you're way too late, maybe 10 years too late.
Yeah.
So we agree fully, and if Coach shares my number with you or
Okay.
yours with me, I'm actually happy to share my number to all of you. If you want to reach me on WhatsApp with any tennis-related matter, I'm more than happy.
And by the way, there are other parents here similar to
Yeah,
my
which
similar.
you're right. I mean, that's, and I would think really that engaging with you guys on tennis-related topics and talking to parents now, you will be far ahead of the learning curve, because, as we said already, Coach Dixon takes that player education and parent education around tennis very seriously, and rightly so. If you're having a child doing something, and worse if you're thinking of dedicating more time to them doing it, you need to be aware of various things. So if you hear things, you can know how to
Right.
channel sense out the nonsense.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, President. Parents.
Cruz, no more question?
Everybody have no clues in the long of the work. There's nothing planned today.
Just a comment. First of all, I'd like
Yeah.
to congratulate you, Mr. Azar, for the efforts you've made to
Yes,
push
indeed.
and advocate tennis in Jamaica. I mean, growing up as a youngster, there was always this notion that tennis is only for a subset of the population. I think we need to do more to dispel that myth and make tennis more accessible to
Yes.
schools, not only in corporate Jamaica. I mean, I used to play tennis from my school, and a lot of times schools don't push tennis, and you'll see the court there, and it's not maintained, it's not fixed. A lot of children will have an interest, but they don't have access to coaches. So I guess more knowledge, advocacy, and
Yeah.
the different resources that persons, children or parents who want to access have the means to, and I guess more awareness so that the Sports Development Foundation
Yes.
can
SDF.
see and you have
Channel
partnerships.
more funds there.
Exactly, channel more funds there, and probably strategic partnerships with other private sector organizations, so that parents are knowledgeable of the value of tennis and the prospects of their children getting scholarships, universities, overseas, etc.
Yeah.
Just like how swimming is now getting that traction, there is that traction with track and field and other sports.
Agreed. Thank you very much for the
Yeah,
kind
man.
words.
For real.
And what I will say to that is, thankfully, the days of tennis being seen as, let's say, an elitist sport are way behind us. And as an organization, what we do a lot of, maybe we don't do as good a job articulating a lot of what we do, but persons who want to be introduced to the sport at any level can come to Tennis Jamaica at no cost, have access to tennis rackets, football, and coaching. I'm not saying coaching long term.
Yeah.
Introduce them to the sport, and what we're trying to do, as you see, is to let more and more people, children in particular, but let's say people, see the sport of tennis as a sport they can play, and to remove fully that cost barrier from the
Yes.
entry barrier to the sport. You want somebody growing up to see cricket, football, track, tennis as another sport, but as an alternative that they can play. You don't only see tennis as a sport that other people play, and they can only play these sports because of money. So one of the things we did, which I'm probably most particularly proud of, one of the things is prior to 2019, juniors representing Jamaica had to pay their airfare to represent Jamaica. And I always had a problem with that because I wanted tennis teams to select it based on their ability to play, and certainly not based on their ability to play. So since 2019, Tennis Jamaica covers all airfare costs of all
Beautiful.
international teams.
Beautiful.
The only thing we've started doing, because to be honest with you, sending away teams can run upwards of millions of dollars. What we've started to do, just with the last team to be honest, is said we are covering the cost, but asking, not making any demand, that parents who can afford to contribute, obviously we'll accept a contribution. But when my children were playing, there was a particular child at that age who I ended up assisting personally as a separate matter, because you had people who were selected by national team going out there literally trying to gather funds to play, and I didn't think that was right. It's a national team, the National Association has to bear that responsibility, and we as an association should be the ones going out to source funding, not sending a mother or a father or both out knocking on people's doors to try and get money. So thank you again, and as I say, we'll continue to break down that barrier that persons will see tennis as a sport and can play, and their children can.
Go, Mr. Queen.
Following on what Gail says, I would think one of the biggest problems with sports has in introducing it to a wider audience of children is that football, track, cricket need no facility.
Excellent.
University school finds a little piece of and they're throwing. So for you to go and, because you could have an outreach program to go to places, but you can't go to a inner city school, show them, enlighten them, and then have to track up to your port. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things is if you can find schools who would allow other schools, less advantaged schools, and then you can give the partnership there. And then you would open up to, and you know what happens when you open up to the inner city. You pick up so many players that you never thought you could get.
Before you respond to that, Sir President, so I'm happy you said it, because I'm here now. I work with at-risk youths. I work in the prisons, forensic psychology. And I get called to a lot of inner city schools. And I keep saying to myself, because I've seen what tennis has done, I keep saying to myself, I would love to, I do a lot of life skills and personal development sessions. And it's one of my ambitions to really see how we can twin tennis with it. Currently I have a program where I twin kickboxing and chess. But I see you spoke about the life lessons. I see how it can be twinned. But then it comes to the point that he has made. And certainly some schools have some courses that really not being used, etc., etc. And it's very expensive to put a court in place. So just to support this point.
Well, excellent, and your point is very valid in that cricket, track, football, you have a field.
Don't give me a field.
Anyway.
Anyway.
So, hence, we have a problem with courts island-wide. We looked a couple of years ago at a court rehabilitation program. We've done about 5 courts so far. 4 in Montego Bay at a facility which was privately done but with pensioners. Is one of the problems to that is not just the funding from our point of view, but we're not going to invest funding in a court unless that court then is publicly accessible.
Yeah,
We're not
makes
gonna
sense.
Resurface a court and then have it closed down to a private entity. But importantly, one of the things we're doing, which I think is important, you know, think you have all the solutions, but you look and you learn from others. So I went down to Barbados a couple months ago and I saw a
Street
program
tennis.
they had, which was excellent.
Street tennis.
Well, street tennis
Street
is
tennis.
one thing, but they had a program in place where they actually bus children each day to their facility. So in the process of sourcing and purchasing a poster bus, that we're going to be doing something similar here with schools that don't have
That's good.
any sports on their premises.
That's
But you are correct that it is something that is a hindrance to tennis's amount of court. Since you touch on street tennis, something I looked at. I saw something in France a couple years ago which was fantastic. They have a court that it's like a mini court. But they literally set it up. It comes like a Lego set, let's say, but it's a mini court maybe the size of this room. And they set it up literally on the street.
Yeah.
And my vision for that, obviously with support by the authorities, is to go into an area like downtown Kingston, lock off a road, and literally set up street tennis, because you're not going to become a professional tennis player there, but you may very well have children who fall in love with the game there. So what you're really doing is, if you can't get them to the tennis court, you're
Bring
in
the
the tennis court again.
Good.
So that's important, and thank you again for the point. Cruz, you move seats, or Cruz has something to ask us? All right, hold on, Cruz, let's see.
So, having attended several situations, we seem to get lucky in umpires. So what's it?
Sorry, what development?
Umpire.
Umpire. Okay, good point. Good point.
You guys have got a question.
I kind of share that concern, that maybe the standard of officiating is not where it needs to be. So we had some ITF professional tournaments in May, and one of the things that the ITF people came down with was that they hosted seminars with a number of our local officials. So we're constantly looking to upgrade the officiating, but the truth is, what we also need and would love is persons such as parents who want to be certified to be an official. So the pool of persons who we are willing to teach and train is important as well. I mean, the end product is going to be, in many instances, only as good as the persons who are so interested. But what we're doing, and I'm taking nothing away from our current officials, I'm not trying to, let's say, but the reality is, if I'm being honest with you, which I always tend to be, it is a concern we share that the standard of officiating needs to be higher and more consistent. So sometimes you'll have 2 officials and the same situation happens on 2 courts and they interpret the rule differently, and that's not good. That's never good. When you have inconsistency of officiating, that's certain area that we need to bolster and strengthen.
Judge, I want to ask, what are the opportunities between categories under 8 and under 16 to represent Jamaican teams?
Under, what's the first age group you said?
From under 8 to under 16.
8 to 16.
2 to 6.
Okay, so at present, the team competitions for juniors is, there's a 12 and under competition. Trying to remember the name of it, but there's a 12 and under competition. There's a world juniors, which I think is 14 and under, and then there's a junior Davis Cup, which is 16 and under. So there are 3 different team events each year for juniors.
Is there an age cap for the 12 and under?
To participate.
Did I hear that you have to be like 10 or something?
I really-
Age cap meaning a
What
minimum
age?
age.
Yeah, minimum.
I believe 10 is the age, yes.
Why?
I think 10 is the age, and that's because Coach Dixon and I have spoken, and we may not fully agree with this, but at present, the ITF have their guidelines with what they want 10 and under players to be doing, or 8 and under players, what rackets they want, what size court. I don't think they fully appreciate that certain 8 and under players may physically be as strong as an 11-year-old otherwise, but at present, I think that's the reason for the minimum age requirement for
Fair
the
point.
12 and under. But there are opportunities, 3 different teams a year travel in the age groups I just said.
And but how does our children go about getting on? How does our child go about getting onto the national team?
All right, good question. So as we spoke about earlier, is local tournament is definitely, I would say, the first way to get the attention of the technical committee
Right.
who deals with team selection. We have a selection criteria policy which coach can share with you. In some instances, if the technical committee feels there's no distinguishing factor between 2 players, they may have trials, whether between 2 players for 1 spot or for the entire team, or if based on performance in local tournaments, they feel that this player, in keeping with the criteria, warrants a selection. But it's a good question, and I think coach should share that and discuss that with all of you, because there is a pathway to become a national representative at a junior level and ultimately at all levels.
I will give you, I'll go without the person who never asked any question. So.
Morning. From a national team perspective, player is selected for the national team because tennis Jamaica have a core of national coaches that will take them on once that selection process, or is it that you continue on your existing program?
I would say if somebody, we're talking general, obviously there are exceptions to it, but I would say if somebody is at that level, then a lot of good is currently happening with whatever their current setup is. But before any team travels, what we certainly would do is have a training camp prior to a particular competition. So I would say yes, there will be national coaches who get involved in a short-term window prior to the competition, because you can work on doubles, which is something that you need to do with your teammates, and doubles in our team competition historically has been a weak point. Something that we need to strengthen. So, I mean, there is a national camp that will take place prior to the team travel. But if somebody is performing at that level to get into a national team, then I would say, generally speaking, it means that what they're doing outside of that is already at a high level. Yeah, and obviously at a team camp like that, individual coaches are welcome. I mean, they may not be in charge of the camp, but certainly they'll be welcome to observe and pass any comments relating to their players to the national coaches. So they'd have added insight that maybe a national coach looking at somebody who's only for a couple hours would not be enough.
Would there, a follow-up, would there, or is there, granted I know that workshops have taken place, but is there a dedicated program for having a pool of nationality, which is, regardless of if they have their own individual camps or not, so when that happens, that pool of coaches come together. So,
I think that, one, sorry, is to say that I think what we need to do is to get a little bit more buy-in from more of the coaches. Because some of the coaches are very protective of what they do. They are, but as we mentioned before in relation to quarterly camps, I think that's where it's important, where Tennis Jamaica now can take a look and prospective top players in the age groups, and maybe then work with their respective coaches to see what, if anything, can be done to enhance any weaknesses and improvement.
I would have to kind of lock it over because
Yeah.
the rest of the Santos have to leave. I'm
Can I take the last two?
yes.
So what does the rest of the year look like? What does summer look like? Like what's going on?
We'll dive in tournaments at all levels, so we'll have junior tournaments, we'll have amateur tournaments, we'll have some. I can share the updated calendar with coach.
Okay, are you putting on the Instagram page?
Yeah, that's probably, yeah, we need to keep that page more and more.
All right,
I'll
cool.
share the calendar
Yes.
and the selection criteria.
No, who's going to give up his thing, his spot?
I have a question. Well, it's not only a question. I didn't even know that as a parent I can join Tennis Jamaica,
Come here.
right? One of the things that a lot of parents have questions that and concerns that I don't think Tennis Jamaica can solve. I just mentioned here that if you build a tennis court in an inner city area, they would tear the net down and play football on it instead, or cricket, right? Maintenance of the courts are very expensive, which we all know, all right? I think my question is, can Tennis Jamaica publish, however mean, because I'm not a member, things that we can contribute to meaningful and goals that I think are attainable? Because to build inner city courts or to truck children, unfortunately, as I mentioned the coach many times, and why the coaches are cagey, is that a lot of our problems in Jamaica and everywhere else boils down to money, right? That's the truth. And we have to agree that that is the truth. You know, you talk about your son going from 1 hour of training to 5 hours a day. Most parents cannot even afford 1 hour a day, much less to bump up somehow to 3 to 4 to 5 hours per day. It's a money issue. So I think that we should, I mean, if it's the goal of Tennis Jamaica, to have parents volunteer and give up their time, which is money, let's look for attainable goals that will make a meaningful impact on our children now who play tennis, so that we can see something for our kids, rather than saying, hey, let's reach out to another 500,000 poorer children, who the truth is, half of us in here won't be here 2, 3, 4 years from now. 10 years from now, maybe one of us or two of us may be in tennis, right? So what is our goal? What is Tennis Jamaica's goal for parents who have children now? In other words, Cruz is 8. In 7 years from now, 8 years from now, he may be away at school, and I'll be done with Tennis Jamaica. I mean, quite frankly, if he's not playing at a national level, right? Your children are gone from Jamaica, mostly, right? So I think Tennis Jamaica needs to focus on programs and things and goals for all players who are currently players, which is a very short space of time, right? Because you need funding, and the kids need funding. So I think the lofty goals that we mentioned here, they're lofty. Tennis Jamaica has to keep those lofty goals, quite frankly, to themselves. Because we as parents have a very, very short window to benefit and to help Tennis Jamaica. So I think Tennis Jamaica probably, I mean, I have no idea what you guys are doing, by the way. But I think those goals have to probably be defined that, you know, if your child is 8 to 10, what is the timeline you have us for? And how do we help meaningfully within that timeline to fulfill your long-term goals? But then what is all of us, parents here, what's our short-term goals? Because it can't be that we all think our children are going to play for Jamaica. I'm a realist. Cruz will be lucky to place after 12, and, you know, after he gets past 12, because he doesn't have the time to play 5 hours a day. I don't have the time to dedicate 5 hours a day to bring him to training. The resources, driving down here in the afternoon after school is an issue. The traffic going home is an issue. You know, I think we all have that same issue on a different level. So that's what I'm asking you is, does Tennis Jamaica have stuff like that? And if they don't, I think that's the only way you're gonna get buy-in from anybody. Because I'm not helping you to achieve a 20-year goal for Tennis Jamaica. I mean, I speak openly as well.
Understood.
Right?
But from our point of view, I think that we need to clearly articulate a number of things. We need to articulate a short-term vision.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we need that.
Allow me to respond. A number of things. We need to articulate a short-term vision for parents like you, who I fully respect and understand. But as an organization, we can't, in my opinion, our view and make that be the only vision we are seeking. So the one thing I'd say I disagree really respectfully on is keeping that vision to ourselves. I think that when you articulate your vision, even for persons who have a short-term goal, a very short window, which I respect and understand fully, you have to let people understand that you as a national organization, remember, Tennis Jamaica is going to be around long after me, so I'm not going to be around too much longer in Tennis Jamaica. Hopefully that otherwise. So in that sense, I respect your point fully, and we should cut those into segments.
Yeah.
Okay, for parents who want these kids to see a vision, this is what can be done, this is how you can assist. But I think that somewhere in the background it's important still for people to understand we're not living hand to mouth and waking up today and saying what we're going to do tomorrow. We have a vision, and God's willing, lofty as it is, we're going to achieve.
No, I believe that you should have
Alright,
it.
so wait.
For sure.
Alright, I want to
It's just that
manage
you
this
have
because I
that.
have another.
Right, Francis.
So, at the president, maybe available and you can chat and shoot this. So, let me just kind of go to the formality. Let me get to the formality. Who's I'm coming to? You know I'm coming to you. Get your food, get your thing. Get your thing ready. My part in all of this, and I really have used this opportunity. I've not had you like this in a forum like this before, so I just use this opportunity to say to you that fortunately for me, I joined this organization 1 year standing, Jamaica Defense Force. And you wouldn't understand how transformational this organization is. Believe me. The kind of number that this organization is going to bring is really big. It changed the way you think, it changed the way you see life, it's wow, right? So I didn't grow up playing tennis. I didn't touch a tennis racket before I joined it. I didn't know if I even spell the word tennis before I joined it. And I came here, and one day one of my young officer, one of my friends, he said, oh, I have two rackets and let's go up on the court. So come up here, I don't remember if any of the ball hit the court. I think most of them end up in the grass over the thing. But I developed a love for it. Didn't love going to the ball, but I developed a love for it.
You're a volleyball.
Well, most of it, right? And I taught myself, I got a passion for it. I started to learn it and learn myself. Anyway, where I'm going with all of this is the JDEF teaches me excellence, attention to detail. All of the words that a business person, a business owner really love. You know people who go to work, but they go to work and they're trying to go late and they try to leave early. But the person who owns the business stay there and make sure everything right. That's what JDF is, right? And for your kids, I'm up at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I don't sleep longer than 2 hours at a time.
Yes, we know.
And
Very obvious.
right? I'm thinking, I'm not thinking about how to get them to be a player in Germany.
President, sir.
I'm thinking about how to get them to be as good as any player, anywhere, in the world, anywhere. I don't have a lot of experience and background in the sport, but I have a brain. And that, I will spare none of it to help you to get it here, right? So, it's with that kind of thinking and mindset that I have invited the president to come and to address you. I think we have benefited a lot from it. There's more to be had, there's a lot more conversation, there are a lot more other persons that I would want to invite to help us to help me, help you, help them to understand things more, so we can get there. And we will get there. At this point, I will ask Cruz to come forward and move a vote of thanks for us. And then after that, you can see the president one again and ask him questions.
Before Cruz does, just one last sentence I'd like to say. One of the things that I love about tennis is it truly is a sport for a lifetime.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I agree.
If you look at a lot of the families, if you look at a lot of those clubs, you see people playing doubles, literally into their 90s.
Yeah, man.
And they're going to tell you, the same 4 people assuming they're all alive at that age, will tell you they've been playing together for 60 years. I mean, obviously the level diminishes, but the competition between them doesn't, the fun between them doesn't, the camaraderie doesn't. So, to say again, there are different levels people can play. You understand that all of them are important, all of them are beneficial. Whether you want your child to play, to aim for an education, aim for professional, or just have a sport they can play into their God's willing old age and enjoy themselves. I think it's a great sport from that perspective.
All right.
Listeners, it is my sincere pleasure to give the vote of thanks on behalf of all the colonels, my coach, my fellow students, and the parents. I may only be late, but I know a beneficial discussion when I hear one, and this discussion we had this morning was very beneficial. Therefore, I salute you in the
Cruz for Prime Minister.
Cruz. Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks, Colonel.
Thank you again.
All right.
No, outside.
Another Cruz, sir.
Afterwards.